Hello, I'm Charly and welcome to another book talk. Today we're going to be discussing Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. So this book was great. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars and I'm so glad that I finally read it and I'm so excited to get into the rest of the series. So if you didn't know, this is a young adult high fantasy. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong about the high fantasy thing, but I'm pretty sure high fantasy. And it follows a female protagonist called Selena Saradossian, who is the world's most notorious assassin, and she is trained by the king of assassins, and then one day she gets caught and sent to a life sentence in a salt mine death camp type thing where she just becomes a slave. And then she's been there for just over a year, I think. And then the prince and the captain of the guard of the king of Ardalan come and take her out of the salt mines and offer her a deal in which she can either carry out her life sentence in the salt mines or she can participate in a contest to be the king's new champion, which involves like 20-something other people who are fighting to be the king's champion, and several people, like including the prince, pick a champion to represent them in this competition, and the prince has chosen Selena Saradossian to represent him in the competition. So I have actually got a little page of notes here, and the green highlighted parts are bits that I can talk to the non-spoilery people about. So I'm going to start off with the non-spoilery section just real quick, and then I'll tell you when the spoilery section starts, and then if you haven't read this book, then you should leave. So basically, I love the protagonist of this book. She's just such a kick-ass female lead, and everyone says this, and it's true. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to enjoy this as much as I did, because I don't know why, but I thought I would just kind of find it meh, or I would think this book was more like a 4-star, and then I'd enjoy the rest of the series a lot more, because I've heard a lot of people don't like this first book as much, but I couldn't not give it 5 stars. I just loved it so much, and I flew through it. And even though this is the start of a massive fantasy series, well, not massive, like the books aren't that long, but like it's still a long series, this wasn't slow. Like I was expecting it to be slow with like world building and stuff that needs to happen in the first book and introduction of plot and stuff like that, but I still found it really, really fast paced, so that was good. This book is written in third person, and I thought that was done really well, because it's like third person sometimes isn't really from a point of view, it's kind of just a voice for all of the characters. Like you're not always focusing on one character with third person, which isn't always a bad thing, but in this book it's very obvious that the third person is still from the perspective of a certain character, and it's not a different perspective every chapter. It's like it changes perspectives within the chapter, and I really enjoyed that. This book also introduces a whole lot of different storylines, and I'm just so excited to see where they all go. And even though it's all just introducing storylines, a lot of them do progress, and it wasn't slow paced at all, and you need to read this if you haven't yet. So that is the end of the non-spoilery section. If you have not yet read this book yet, everyone says you should read it, and now I'm saying that you should read it. It's just great. I haven't read any of the other books as of yet, although I am pre-recording this, and it's like the 23rd of May now, and this won't be uploaded until next month sometime. So, but you have to read this book. So that's all for the non-spoiler people. Come back when you've read this and we can discuss it further, so bye-bye. Alright, so I'm just going to reference my little piece of paper and talk about some things in this book. But okay, the first thing that I have is on page 23 of this edition, and it was just a quote that I found funny, and I just wrote as a note, I love this world already. So the quote that I found funny on page 23 was, "However, the unbearable urge to splatter someone across a wall lessened when they brought her a piebald mare to ride." I just found the urge to splatter someone across a wall just so funny. Like, that's just so Selena, and it just sums up her character pretty much. So what do you guys think about the Fae in this book? Like, don't tell me if you've like read the other books what happens, but I thought that the Fae were kind of alluded to, and I'm really hoping that the Fae come into this more. It was like when they were walking through that forest and stuff, and then there were footprints leading to Selena's tent or something, and yeah, I'm really excited to see where that goes. I really, really loved Selena and Nehemiah's relationship throughout this book, friendship, and like, I did kind of think that it was Nehemia for some reason. Like, I kind of suspected there was something off with her just because that time she walked in on her in the library and Nehemia started talking without any sort of accent at all, and I was like, I didn't think she was behind the murders, but I thought she was hiding something, like that she was, like, something against Selena, like she was using Selena. I didn't think she was to do with the murders, but I thought she was using Selena, but then she wasn't, and then I felt bad along with Selena. And but I really, really loved their relationship because Selena's never really had any friends, and they just, like, are so good together and, like, so conniving kind of thing, and everyone just kind of is scared of them together. They're like, we don't want those two together. That just means trouble. On page 170, I hypothesized that Nehemia has some sort of ability, apparently. So what happened on page 170? That's when Nehemia was like staring at Selena's forehead, like when they passed some weird marks. How do you pronounce? I'm so bad at pronouncing things in this book, okay? Cole. I called C-H-A-O-L, Cole, this whole book, and I don't know. How do you people pronounce it? Because I know Paul and Banana's books called him Kale or something, but I just can't stop thinking of his name as Cole for some reason, even though that's not how you spell Cole. It's like the O is before the A in Cole. But I don't know how to pronounce things, and Nehemia and the weird marks, don't know how to pronounce anything. Ardalan, don't know. But I'm really excited to see where, like, the magic element of this book goes with that thing with the weird marks, and the Nehemia, like, can see that and everything, and also in the duel at the very end, which I'll get to in a second, how she could see everything that was happening. I'm really excited to see where that goes. And then I have as a random note that I think Selena has some sort of weird connection with dogs, because when she, at the beginning of the book, all the dogs seemed to like her when they were traveling from the salt mines to the castle. They just seemed to like her, and then Dorian was saying how the dogs really liked her when she went down to the kennels, and also her, the dog that she got, Fleetfoot. I really love Fleetfoot. That is just, oh man, I love it when they put a companion animal into a story, because I just love animals. And so when Fleetfoot was all, like, skittish of people and he was gonna get put down, but then he wasn't scared of Selena, so I was like, she has some sort of weird connection with animals, because that would be cool. I also really, really love Selena's friendship with Knox. Like, even though I was a bit iffy on her being an ally with him, because I was like, if you guys become good friends and become allies, then you're gonna have to kill him later on, and that's not gonna be good. Or, well, you don't kill them, but you take them out of the competition, which isn't good. And then Knox left, which I'm happy about that, because I like Knox as a character, and I'm really hoping that he comes back into the story in the next book, because I miss that guy. Even though we didn't really get to see much of him, I really liked what we did see of him. I found Keltane a really interesting character in this book. Like, I didn't have any idea why she was getting these headaches. I thought it had something to do with the guy she's with, what's his, Parrington, I think, but I didn't know what it was, and then I knew it was to do with his ring at the end of the book, but I still don't fully understand that. Like, her storyline kind of confused me, but I think that storyline is gonna maybe go further, but it was kind of confusing to me in a weird way. But she's, like, a really strange character, and she's, like, mysterious, and I like that about her, so I'm excited to learn more about her. Alright, I want to talk about the love interest real quick. So I am definitely on Team Cole. I don't know, that's probably not how you say it, but I don't like Dorian very much. Like, I was kind of back and forth for the first half of the book, but then at the end, I liked Cole better. But the problem is, I really think that this is going to end up, she's going to end up with Dorian, so I don't think she'll end up with Cole. Maybe she'll have a relationship with him, but I still think Dorian's going to come back, even though she broke it off with him. He's going to come back, and I think most people are on Team Dorian. Tell me what team you're on below, because I want to know, because I don't really know whose team anyone's on, except for Christine, because I watched her book talk and she said she was on Team Dorian. So when Kane knew about her parents, I was under the impression that Selena killed her parents when he said that, because she woke up next to them with blood surrounding them, so I thought that she'd killed them, but then later on we find out that she doesn't, and I really want to know how her parents died. And I'm really wondering about this mark on Selena's forehead, and I think that she has some sort of magical ability with the weird marks, even though it's not an actual ability, like magical type thing, I don't know. But and at the very end, when she's talking to Eleanor, it says blood for blood or something. So is she related, descendant from Eleanor, and is that why the Fae, like the footsteps to her tent and stuff when they were in the forest on the way to the castle? So I don't get why Eleanor said that Eleanor like picked Selena to be the one that had to destroy the evil within the castle. So like I still don't really know why that was. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because of her abilities or something, or like the possibility that she can become the heir to the throne and stuff. And I'm really excited to see where this goes. I think that the king of assassins is going to come into this later on. Like, he has to. He's going to be like a prominent villain in this. I can see it. And that's really exciting because he seems like a terrible person, but also very interesting. What is my favorite scene in this? I don't know what my favorite scene is. I really liked, I liked when she got given candy from Dorian, was it? I think it was Dorian, and she had the red teeth, and then it was just terrifying, and she kept on forgetting to not smile. And what else do I really like? I really like all her interactions with Nehemia, like when she's speaking, I forget the Elwë, when she's speaking Elwë to her in front of Dorian, and Dorian's like, I don't understand this. And what else do I really like? I don't know. I really do like the final battle scene. I didn't really talk about that. Okay, let me talk about that. So that was insane. I honestly thought she was going to lose, and then don't know what was going to happen after that, but I thought she was going to lose. Like, at first I thought she was just going to beat him like straight away before the poison took effect. But then, like before that, I thought she was gonna pick up that there was poison in her wine and not gonna drink it, but then she drank it and I was like, that whole scene, I just really liked how that was written. Oh my gosh, like how it was really scary with all how she was like between the two worlds and she could see everything that was happening. And oh man, that was like, I don't understand though, because Eleanor came into it and then she somehow kept Cain, kept Cain still while the poison was going out of Selena, and I don't understand how like the audience didn't notice that Cain was like and like not able to move. So I don't understand how the people watching, the spectators, didn't notice that Cain was like trying to push against something that they couldn't see. Did they not notice that? I mean, I know the king knew exactly what was going on, which is interesting. The king banned magic and yet he uses it. What a prick. That guy needs to go. He needs to leave the situation, okay? He needs to die. Dorian needs to kill that man. So anyway, that's all I have to say about this. Please discuss with me below, but don't leave any spoilers for the next books because I haven't read them as of yet. And so be very careful about spoilers, okay? Yes. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!